I should be the saddest man in the world after losing my mother at 5, my wife at 28, and my livelihood at 58, but I am not. My name is Arthur, and at 106 years old, I have discovered that joy is not a reward for a good life, but a decision you make in the middle of a hard one. I want to tell you why waiting for things to be perfect is a death sentence, and how I finally learned to stop letting the world dictate the state of my soul. I have lived through a century of change, seeing the world move from horse-drawn carriages to the tiny screens people hold in their palms today. But the one thing that never changes is the way human beings wait for happiness to arrive like a bus they are not sure is even running. I remember being a very small boy, only 5 years old, standing in a room that felt much too large and much too quiet because my mother was gone. At that age, you do not have the words for grief, but you feel the coldness of it in your bones. And for a long time, I carried that coldness with me, like a heavy coat I forgot I was wearing. I grew up thinking that life was something that happened to me, a series of blows I had to duck and weave around, and I became very good at being tough. I thought being tough was the same thing as being strong, but I was wrong about that. When I met my wife Clara, it felt like the sun had finally come out after a lifetime of gray winters, and for a few years I let myself believe that I had finally won. We were young and we did not have much, but we had a way of laughing at the smallest things that made our tiny apartment feel like a palace. When she died at 28, the world went dark again. And this time the darkness was even heavier because I knew exactly what I was missing. I remember sitting in the silence of our home and deciding that I would never let myself be that vulnerable again. I decided to become like a stone, thinking that if I didn't feel the heights of joy, I wouldn't have to feel the depths of the fall. I spent the next 30 years building a business, a small woodworking shop where I put all my energy into the grain of the wood and the sharpness of my tools because wood was predictable and tools didn't leave you. Then when I was 58 years old, I stood on the sidewalk in the middle of the night and watched that shop burn to the ground. I watched 30 years of sweat and stability turn into orange sparks that disappeared into the black sky. And in that moment, I realized that my strategy of being a stone had failed me. I was 58, I had no family, no business, and no plan. And I realized that if I kept being hard, I was just going to break. Hard times don't have to make you hard, but they will if you let them, and I saw then that I had been waiting for life to be perfect before I would allow myself to be happy again. I was waiting for a day when nothing was wrong and no one was gone and the bills were all paid, but that day is a ghost that no one ever actually catches. I started to realize that joy isn't something that happens to you. It is something you decide to do. It is like a muscle that you have to exercise every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. Because if you don't train your heart to find something to be grateful for, that muscle will wither away until you are nothing but bitterness. I began small, forcing myself to notice the way the morning air smelled, or how good a simple cup of coffee tasted, and at first it felt fake. It felt like I was lying to myself because my life was objectively a mess. But gratitude is a practice, not a reaction. You don't feel grateful because things are good. You feel grateful until things start to feel good. Most people treat joy like it is a destination they are going to reach eventually. But I am telling you at 106 that there is no destination. There is only the walk, and if you don't enjoy the walk, you have wasted the trip. I have seen so many people spend their best years waiting for the kids to grow up, or for the promotion to come, or for the retirement to start, and they are essentially giving themselves a death sentence while they are still breathing. They are holding their breath, waiting for a permission slip from the universe that is never going to come. You have to give yourself permission. You have to decide that even though you are grieving, or even though you are broke, or even though your body is failing, you are going to find the light in the room anyway. I look at my hands now, and they are wrinkled and spotted, and they don't do what I want them to do half the time, but I am still happy. I am happy because I stopped demanding that life be easy before I agreed to enjoy it. I lost everything that the world says you need to be successful, and yet I have everything I need because I own my own perspective. It is a quiet kind of power to be able to look at a difficult day and choose to find the beauty in it anyway. And it is a power that nobody can take away from you. You might think you have too many problems to be happy right now, but I am telling you that your problems are just the background noise, and you are the one who gets to choose which song the radio is playing. When I look back over a century, the things I remember most aren't the tragedies, though there were many, and they aren't the grand achievements, though there were a few. I remember the way a certain afternoon felt when I was sitting on a park bench and realized I didn't want anything else. I remember the feeling of choosing to be kind to a stranger when I was feeling low, and how that kindness acted like a mirror that reflected back onto me. Joy is a gritty, resilient thing that grows in the cracks of a broken life if you let it, but you have to be the one to plant the seed, and you have to be the one to water it with your own intentions. If you are listening to this and you feel like the world has been unfair to you, you are probably right, but being right about your misery doesn't make you any less miserable. You have to decide if you want to be right or if you want to be happy. I chose to be happy, not because I forgot my mother or Clara or my shop, but because I wanted to honor the life I still had left. I didn't want to show up at the end of my journey having spent the whole time complaining about the weather. I wanted to arrive at 106 with a heart that was still soft even after all the times it had been hit. So I want you to take a breath and look around you right now and stop waiting for the perfect time to feel good. That time is a lie that robs you of your days. Find one small thing that is working, one tiny piece of light, and hold on to it with everything you have. Joy is a decision you make every morning when you open your eyes, and it is the only thing in this life that is truly yours to keep. I have lived for a very long time, and I have seen it all go up in smoke, but the joy I chose to build inside myself is still here, and it is more than enough.